They'll get released at the same time, but they are separated by about 40 odd metres. And so the super light action with Johnny Lewis. Unfortunately, Johnny didn't quite have the pace yesterday, but he's on pole. Chris Huddleston in second place on the grid. He's our race 1 winner, and the awesome wobbly 400 right on the back of the grid. Unfortunately, had a lot of bike trouble in qualifying. He's managed to get that bike sorted, and it is going to be definitely an awesome fight to watch. So super light at the front and 125s at the back. Lights out there away. And an awesome start to the IM250. Jason Bird in the 250 mono class there. So awesome to see him take that lead down in there. We'll have a look on the beautiful Ctas live timing screen as we have a look at turn 1 out of Flexoplas, and I think that looks to be the Kramer, the Jacob Stroud Kramer. So awesome to see him get that. That is a, I think a 650cc KTM single cylinder engine inside the beautiful Kramer frame. Thanks to the guys at Honda Cars and Shuzi and Team Lizard Racing. So awesome to see Team Stroud taking the lead at the moment. It's a 690, I think, so a 690 single cylinder engine. So awesome to see different range of super light bikes out there. With the wobbly 400 not quite getting the better start. He's sitting in 6th place at the moment. See Richard Mark and Barrett up there as well. So awesome stuff. He's on a single cylinder machine as well. And then go back to Chris Huddleston, who's on an R6 that's been sorted into a 453 cylinder machine. So a triple 450cc machine. Awesome stuff. Super light action. Jacob Stroud leads them into the Southern Salvage S's. And now the Richard Mark and Barrett machine under pressure from the 68 of Chris Huddleston. So have a look at that battle. It's going to be an awesome battle looking around the outside of the dipper, but I think he's coming a bit too deep and he's going to give the position away. That looks like Johnny Lewis up into 3rd place, so a better start from Johnny this time round. And now we see the smaller 250 boys, they're already in there as well, so 250 boys and the 125 boys, they'll have a hard time with this wind. But see, the wind is definitely dying down, so definitely not as much of a wind out there at the moment. But awesome stuff. The Kramer seems to be flying at the moment.
Well, there we go. In fact, remembering, of course, we've got our 2 classes, so we'll see our super lights go out in front, but then looking at the battle with our singles, and then 125 2-stroke or 254 stroke. So maybe it's a name for the likes of the single or mono class, maybe potentially the rebranding of this. We still want to see 125s alive and well, but these new Moto 3 bikes with the 250cc 4-stroke engine in them are certainly the way of the future. And to have these numbers that we've got on the field this year, and a special welcome to our Australian contingent. Man, oh man, do we love having these guys, and want to see them hopefully get some support and recognition they deserve for making the big trip from Australia. And they're doing the 2 back-to-back, so they're doing this round and next round, because they're back-to-back weekend, and right at the end of the series as well with Manfield and Taupo. They are back-to-back for the last weekend in February 30-31, and then our first weekend in April, so which will be the final round. So they will miss Hampton Downs, we understand, because it's a standalone, and the expense of coming for one at Hampton Downs may be a little too much. But who knows, they might have the bug and they might have the realisation that they are looking for the glory and looking for that overall 5 rounds. So a special honour to have them with us, and to all their supporters out there, a big Kiwi hi, and I hope you're getting something out of this. Look at the racing, sensational. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's your first 5 to go through, and they're through the Sign Biz Dipper and in flying good form there already. So Jacob Stroud up there, I think it's Richard Mark and Barrett who we've got on board now for that 2nd spot, so good work there from Richard. But look at that from Jacob. Now what's he got to do? That buffer's big enough because the slipstream doesn't play the part, you see, because he pulls it over and he goes, notice there how he creeps over to the centre of the track as well. The other guys are still staying on the outside race line, but it means that they can't get the advantage of the slipstream behind them. And here come our little bikes, and look at the charge again coming from the number 11. He was in fantastic form here yesterday, and I think we're going to see something similar from him again here today. So looking out for our 125s, and it's all on at the moment. It's called the Access Man 125 G-Feed 250 mono, and it is our number 11 of Jason Hearn there at the moment on the IM 250, courtesy of Building and Span Expansion, or BAS, Joints New Zealand Moto Academy, Innovative Moto Developments. That's the IM Bike Innovative Moto, and then go to Chelsea Coaching, Henshaw Science, Ctas Live, Cook Strait Crossings and Bridgestone. So well done to Jason, and it makes our 125s. But it's that man again, Yanni Shaw, and hope hopefully probably learned something yesterday after being pipped to the line. So well done to Yanni, one of our Aussie visitors on the Kalex KDM 250, courtesy of D6M, which is Double Six Motorsport, with KDM Motorex, Dr. B, Locus, along with Relish Creative, Select Fresh, Providors, and a lot of other great sponsors. So there's our Aussie contingent with Yanni doing the best of those at the moment. So Brad, again, two great races to watch. The front runners with our Super Lights and then our 125s.
Yeah, awesome to see. And Richard Mark and Barrett, he was in a comfortable second place last time around, and Chris Huddleston has now snuck up into second place and all over the back of the Kramer. So awesome battle for the lead at the moment. And then the Wobbly 400, the RZ 350 that's been made into a two-stroke racing bike and super light. So that's an awesome bike to listen to. And as we see the Kramer now in a bit of trouble, heading down the front straight, Chris Huddleston, race 1 winner. He is all over the back of that now with the Wobbly 400. And the 19, Rich Mark and Barrett in 4th place. 54, Johnny Lewis, and then we head to the first of the 250 Moto 3 bikes with Yanni and then Jason in there as well. So awesome stuff. And I reckon looking at the gantry there, I see a time penalty for the number 15. So I think that might be the Dennis Charlotte jump start again. Is that not Dennis Charlotte jumping the start 2 days in a row, is it, Neil?
Oh, surely not. Must be an error by the officials. Wouldn't be Dennis, not the patron saint of road racing in New Zealand. Can't be.
Change the lead there. Would have changed the lead. Chris Huddleston's got it done into Euromark, the left-hander. So awesome stuff. Chris Huddleston, early pace from the Kramer looks to be undone. So that's the 450 machine taking over the single-cylinder machine. So have a look at that into the Fulton Hoganesses. So Jake will be a little bit better there, a little bit more lightweight, but it looks like Chris Huddleston has got the job done, and we have a new race leader as they head into the Christchurch Casino Carousel. And the Wobbly 400, I'm sure he'll be kicking himself in 3rd place there with a number 15 time penalty on the board there. That will be he'll be raging under the helmet, I think.
He will be indeed, and you'll see that a few people apparently didn't see it yesterday. I think it's quite a clear way of doing it, but anyway, we'll go back to showing them a board penalty. But anyway, on the racetrack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking out for that battle there. The 125s, look how close they've got there. There we go with Yanni and Jason again. Can we see Jason? He's got to get close to that, so he's looking at every lap. We had a lovely exit out of Signbiz Dipper that time. That was very good, coming from the number 11 in there, Jason Hearn, the Kiwi rider on the IM 250. The Biggles racing combination with Dr. Steve has really made a difference, and here they are just at the back of the straight, coming down the front here, and again seeing that from Yanni moving right over. Yanni Shaw, letter S out there, letter S over 11. The hot shots in our 125/250 mono field as we look back then to the 16 going for it. That's Daniel Jenkins on the RS 125, the Manscaped. Yes, that's the same Daniel Jenkins that we had on the podium before for our Super Sport 150, and he was saying the fact that he wasn't wanting to take too long because he was getting ready to go out again in the next one. So there you go, Manscaped looking after him on the RS 125. So he is quite a small jockey, and he's looking good on lightweight bikes. So take your hat off there to Daniel Jenkins, and I'll get the clarification on the Ctas update. Pretty sure with the mxt.co.nz Motocross and Track Timing Solutions that we're going to have him as our next best. Yes, we do, next best 125. So S11-16 the order, and they are 6th, 7th, 8th overall. So the first 5 are all these super lights which Brad has been keeping an eye on.
Unbelievable racing. They head out of the Christchurch Carousel, and Jacob Stroud has managed to get back into the lead. Chris Huddleston had a little dive into Euromark, but couldn't quite get it done. So Jacob Stroud now leads with that awesome two-stroke of Dennis Charlotte in 3rd place. Look at how close they are. And then Richard Mark and Barrett, a better ride from Richard today. He is keeping Johnny Lewis, and the Johnny Lewis Builders 450 behind him as well. So awesome stuff. And now we see that battle in the 250s. That's right there through the dipper. So Jason definitely closer than he was a lap ago. So that Biggles Racing IM 250 coming alive at the end of the race.
All right, indeed. So remembering our different battles, so we've got our top 5 out there, which is a 3 and a 2 with our super lights, and then go back to our 125 boys, not far behind them, are they? Probably more than the distance. They started apart on the straight, and there's the separation. Look at that from the Wobbly coming right out wide here, trying to get a difference by going through. Will he make up at the space? Well, no, he's made up some time, hasn't changed the place. So there you go, and now maybe the change. Looking to get back. In fact, that is the change there for the second. So I think we've got it. Chris Huddlestone. So Huddlestone puts his bike back in front. Then we go to Jacob Stroud, now looking for the wobbly there with Dennis Charlotte. Dennis looking to get the dab. Look at that, he's on the inside. And here's the Kramer. Right around. Oh, it's both of them are going on the outside. Surely too far. They've shut the door on him. Yes, look at that. Chris Huddlestone led at Icon coming out of Euromark. He's lost 2 places. How good is that from the other boys? So just when you saw Jacob making a dab, then we saw Dennis having to go for it. And then when Dennis got on his tail, he said, well, no, I'm not going to let you go through. I'm going on the outside. So when they were overtaking somebody, as we saw the likes of Jacob Stroud through there, he had to go past the 2 of them and on the outside, but luckily he could slam the door on Euromark, Brad. That was incredible.
Unbelievable. Yeah, around the outside too, and a really tight left handle. It's quite narrow on exit too, so awesome stuff. These boys, and just some awesome racing. Dennis Charlotte managed to follow him around and then shut the door, and just shows the experience. And it shows the nice, neat, tidy racing. These guys have been separated by about that margin. Throw a blanket over them the whole race, and they're all tossing and turning, changing for the lead, and awesome stuff. And then the battle for 4th and 5th as well is still red hot. And there's just battles all over the place. 2 races in one race, and 2 classes in one race, sorry, and just awesome stuff. And here the wobbly 400, watch this, the back legs of the wobbly when it winds up and gets out of the slipstream. Awesome stuff to see. But the Kramer seems to be in charge at the moment, heading into turn 1.
And there's our fight again. Now look at what's happened with the number 11, Jason Hearn. He's got closer, We have a try and look, we'll get the Ctas update by timing to give us an idea of what we're going to see in that bike battle, and that margin is we'll go down to 0.609, so 1/16 of a second. So keeping an eye on that, because I get the idea that Jason Hearn is starting to close that gap down. So good work from the IM250 Whangarei pilot, and he's keeping the Aussie really honest by the D6M KTM MotorX Dr. B racer on that beautiful KLX KTM 250. Effectively Moto3 technology out there, as we know. Effectively there's a high performance Honda and KTM. They've been the 2 4-stroke engines of note that have been developed with Moto3 bikes, and to think that we've got a bunch of them coming from Australia. And the reason for that is they now haven't got an ASBK class to compete in, because the Aussie scene's just become so dominant with other brands and classes that these guys have been overshadowed, and to get some quality racing they've now come to New Zealand. So from my point of view, I'll call it Aussie's loss is New Zealand's gain, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, talking to the boys, and they formed a little group down the bottom down in Tassie. So they got 16 Moto3 guys in the club down there. So they reckon that's the biggest 125 250 state in Aussie. So awesome stuff. Right down in little Tassie, the Tasmania Motorsport Park. That'd be awesome for one day. Quite a little tight little circuit. So awesome stuff. We have a look, and the white flag is out. Taking the lead, but the wobbly sneaks up ahead of him, and that is awesome stuff. So the wobbly 400 will lead into Flexoplast, but I'm not sure if it's going to have the brakes to keep the Kramer at bay. But we see the 20-second time penalty has been added to Dennis Charlotte, so he is actually in real time down in about 5th or 6th place in the race. So he's leading out there on track, but he's actually, with the time penalty, back in about 5th or 6th place at the moment. So unfortunately for Dennis Charlotte, in fact 7th. So fastest man on track, Chris Huddleston with a 1:38.02. And this is all on. So I don't know if the 2 behind Dennis know that they're just jostling Dennis for no real reason, because the 20-second time penalty will mean that he'll be behind them in the race when they finish the line. But that's something you probably can't tell these races. They're all out there into the Christchurch Carousel. There's nothing between them. They're 3 into there, and then the wobbly 400. So Dennis was having trouble keeping that thing on the track on Exeter corners. He manages to get that neat and tidy out of there. So what do you think Dennis has done overnight?
Wow, there we go. Haven't had that advantage yesterday, remembering he had the penalty, but then in fact he was able to counteract the penalty because he finished so far in front. He had a 31-second lead in the end, and because he had a 20-second penalty, that means he actually won by 11 seconds. Doesn't matter how much he won by. 21-second lead would have been enough, because he was more than the 20-second penalty implied. But today it's been greater, and that's why we see his results drop back. And looking just when we were seeing that Jason Hearn was gaining on Yanni Shaw in that last lap, Yanni's opened it right up. I might suggest that Jason's got a slight problem out there, because he had lost the equivalent of 0.5 a second to go back to 1.1. So there it is, checkered flag to bring it home. Dennis looks like he might have taken that one, but I don't think it'll be the one that counts. we'll wait for that official run. And here we are now with the other ones. Congratulations to Yanni. There it is, the Kalex KTM 250 comes home for the win in the 125 with the 250 mono, and here's the 11 of Jason Hearn. And I tell you what, that bike just doesn't sound like it's right on the main jet as it was here yesterday, so I wonder whether there is. I hope not, and I hope it's not anything we're saying that's putting a curse on it at all. And there's the 16 to come home with Daniel Jenkins. He'll be on the podium, Brad, for the second time.
Yeah, that's our first of our 2/125s come through as well, so awesome stuff, Daniel. So 2 podiums in about 20 minutes for him. He'll be fair worn out by the end of today. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, as the timing's got it, it's got Jacob Stroud on the Kramer winning that race by Chris Huddlestone, and then back to Richard Markin Barrett and then Johnny Lewis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go back down to 5th place in the Superlight class for Dennis Charlotte with that 22nd time penalty. So unfortunate for Dennis, one on track, but with the time penalty is down in 5th place. And as we talked about, Yanni Shaw gets that 66 Motorsport Moto 3 Kalex on top of the podium today. So that's awesome stuff. With your Superlight brought to you by Mega Motorcycle Centre, and your 125 GP 250 mono presented by Access Man, L800 Access Man.